The hurricane season officially began on June 1st, and even though we haven't had a threat, it has been raining heavily, and with it comes the flooding. This morning, Love News set out to look at some flooded areas in the city, and information led us to Blue Marlin Drive, where although some of the water had subsided, there was still a substantial amount on the street, making it impassable for pedestrians. Central American Boulevard also had some flooded sections, as did Penn Road. In this case, the giant potholes served as a reservoir for the water. Other areas in the south side experienced some flooding, or maybe they looked that way because they had subsided. Next, we headed out to Belize rural north area, and we got as far as Ladyville, where the first signs of a flood were visible, like at this area where the highway is completely submerged underwater. Many schools in the area were closed for the day because the school compounds were unimaginably flooded. That is exactly how we found Pancotta Primary School in Sand Hill, which appeared to be an island floating amongst water. The Maskell Road or Old Northern Highway was no exception. Most parts of the road were covered with water, which makes it difficult to determine a path. In Lucky Strike Village, Love News spoke with the chairman, Andrew Chacon, who reiterated that a flood like this is rare in the area.
Well, this is a history for over the past 10 years, but recently we haven't seen water like this for over like 4 to 5 years. We haven't had this flood like this in the area. This is the worst has it been for that while. Okay. Some of the students that live in the area, they don't go to school because they got to walk through the water to go to school, and as you can see, the water some areas is over 2 feet high. So the student is at home. Some people who got to go to work can't pass through the water either to go to work. But most people have to stay at home in their house at this time. Even some of the houses even flooded water inside the house.
So you say it's been over 10 years that you haven't seen something like this. Why do you think that's happening now?
Well, haven't have the amount of rain. We may have a drain that dig where may facilitate some of the water flow. But right now the drain is almost closed up. And that could probably be one of the problems, and the quantity of rain that we receive.
If it gets worse, what are you planning to do with the people in the area?
Well, I have spoke to one of the residents who waters inside their home. If it gets worse, we got to evacuate them to the hurricane shelter. We are visit the primary school this morning, which should be our hurricane shelter, but it's in a terrible condition at this time. We're only depending on the high school, which is King's College, which is about a mile away from here.
How much has it been raining on this side?
Okay, this water just reached here since yesterday evening to this morning.
The rain from yesterday?
Yeah. Cause last night I was out about between 12:30, and the water was way over that side to the base cedar tree. When I came out this morning, all the way to the main road. So you can see the rise in water.
Further on, we came across Belize Rural North Area Representative Edmond Castro, who was inspecting the areas and had spent the better part of the day in the flooded communities. And he detailed us on areas we did not reach.
Well, we are experiencing a lot of rain where they flood out the areas them, especially we have some houses underwater. Some of our people already indicated to them if they need to move, they'll move into some of the resource center or community center in their respective village. We have areas like, for example, some of the farmers. We visited some of the farms, and those guys lost a lot. When you look at some of the footage, you could see some of the watermelon, for example, they float around like the jingle bells. Tomatoes, sweet pepper, they lost a great deal in this flood. So even if the rain should stop today or tomorrow, the damage has already been done to our farmers in this area. We're looking at some of the parts of the highway, especially that we cover so far with 2 small bridges, one by Pullin close to Kings is completely underwater. The other one up by Cursolito is underwater. It's very dangerous, so we're asking for people who commuting and driving or have to be on the road to take extreme precaution, because many of the flood areas on the highway are around curves, so it could be very dangerous, and we don't want nobody to get hurt. And it's frightening for most people to see the areas that have not, during the past couple hurricanes, have not seen the amount of water that we are experiencing now. It's really bad.
Okay, and there is already a big amount, and there's no tropical storm, no hurricane, and we can also worry that it might continue raining. So what plans do you have in place in case that happens?
What we have to do, I was in communication with the Minister of NEMO, so he knows about it, and Ministry of Works. So we are monitoring the situation, and in areas where we need to clean out a culvert or so, we are in the process of doing that to relieve some of the water. But if you notice, some of the water that we are now getting is because the river now is backflowing onto the mainland and connecting with the ponds. So it's getting really, really bad for us. We have a situation like, for example, in Lemanal, on the Lemanal Road, the water wash out a portion of the road there, so we have to look at that. Part of the Crooked Tree Causeway is already underwater. The people that lives in Grace Bank, Davis Bank area, the road is entirely covered with water. So it is, I think, another day. If it continue rain tonight or tomorrow, this whole area will have to be probably declared a disaster area.
Love News also received a call about an hour before news time by a farmer in the area of Rayburn's Ridge, who told us that he is trying to evacuate his farm animals since the water is about 2 feet into the pig's pen and all the egg production for today has been washed away by the water. He also said that many people are parked on the side of the highway catching tilapia with their bare hands since the fish have washed in with the flood. Love News will continue to follow the situation closely and inform the general public. Reporting for Love News, I am Natalie Novello.